Alright guys, Brian with VetteSource back at it today, seeing what kind of trouble we can get into now that we're back on the Formula 350, the yellow gold car. We finished up our 2 Corvette brake repairs we executed last week. First one up was that 76 flame orange Corvette. We did that hard line brake repair and the soft line on the driver's side. And then after we got that finished and road tested, which I probably should have filmed, I just didn't think about it at the time, then we went ahead and got the 69 Daytona Yellow 427 car with a new master cylinder on it so that I can get some effective braking out of it without killing anybody as I go up and down my driveway with a 4-speed and crash into stuff. So today I'm going to jump back up on our yellow gold. We're going to go ahead and look and work on the wiring today over here in this left corner, this mess that I've got working here, simply because I want to clean it up. And good news is my yellow underhood paint has finally going to be delivered tomorrow after, I don't know, 2.5 weeks, almost 3 weeks, which is crazy that it took that long to get here. But anyway, what I'm going to do today is go ahead and work on this wiring that we talked about right here in this corner. You can see looking closely. Oh, and I'm filming today with a new Hero 8, so I think our filming is going to be pretty nice too, because this has some really good definition and clarity. So I'm trying to test driving it in cinematic mode today. We'll see how this looks. You guys can let me know. But you can see how burned and smoke damage this is. These actually didn't get hit too bad. So you know, what I've got here is my electronic spark control module on this side, and then these 2 other relays here. I'm just going to disconnect these for the moment so I can get these out of my way. Oops, and I drop it. I'm going to go over here to our spotter table, and of course, I'm a big advocate of keeping up with your diagrams and such. So these relays here, basically what they are is, again, your electronic spark control, which isn't showing here. Then we've got a burn off relay, the mass airflow burn off relay, and then my fuel pump relay. And these 2 relays, oh, I'm sorry, wait, back up. There's another relay here. The burn off relay is this one here that's broken. My burn off relay is here. My fuel pump relay is here. And both the burn off and the fuel pump are actually the same part number, 1408-9936. So they're interchangeable. I am going to go ahead and change this out too, because that's all smoky and burnt on the corner, but we'll get to that in a minute. So what we're going to work on today is getting this wiring out of the way here again so that I can go ahead and start my paint work. Now, I've already kind of pulled the wiring out before, but today what I'm going to show you how to do is, now that I have everything out of my way, we're going to go ahead and pull this terminal block out of our way here. Let me see if I can get this angle right so you guys can see what I'm doing. And this is, like I mentioned in one of the previous videos, this is our main feed into where the fuse panel goes and everything else. So this is an interesting one to get to. The bolt's kind of hidden. It's a 1/4 inch bolt. This is our main bulkhead connector. Now, of course, obviously, before you want to do this, all your power needs to be disconnected if you're going to get this far into it. And all I'm going to do, you see how I got that in there, and I'm going to loosen that up, and it's already starting to get loose for me, so I might be able to turn it by hand. And what it'll do, that bolt stays captive inside that harness connector there, and it will come out eventually. Still a little bit too tight to turn by hand. Hang on just a second. So what this will do is allow me to get this forward lamp harness and the other wiring harness out of the way completely, so that when I go in here to paint, everything's not in my way. So let's see here. Here it comes. Just a very long bolt. There we go. All right, so you can see now, see the end of that bolt right there? That's how long that is. And there's our main junction block going into the dash harness and fuse box area. And actually, now that I've got that out, I can clean underneath here too. But these 2 studs coming through here are what attaches this through the backside coming through the firewall. So you've got 2 10 millimeters coming through, and then you got the 1 single 1/4 that goes through the other side. Now I can also see which really sucks, how melted this is on the bottom. I really don't like this, but looking pretty closely at this, you know what? Those might be removable covers. I'm gonna look at, oh, in fact, let me show you guys what you can do. If I can get this off, it might be melted together. Pull this forward. This really is melted. There we go. And then that comes apart. So looking at it here, I can see, yeah, this thing is melted. I'm gonna be digging around the junkyards a little bit for something like this, but I can put it back together at least for the moment. And you can see they put actually a special coating inside there to keep moisture and stuff out of it, because that's pretty much your main connector. So for right now, I'm gonna leave that alone, but that's gonna be on my to-do list for sure, to get that in and out of there, because I do not like how melted this thing is, and that's part of the main piece of it. So we'll see where we go from there. So now that we've got that out of the way, I can move that back over here to the engine harness side, the engine block, and got a lot more room to work with in here. Now this ground here, I don't know, I'm going to look at my wiring harness again. I don't know if that's factory or not. Let me get that out of there real quick. I don't have my tools, so we won't worry about that just yet. So we'll get that out of the way in just a minute. That feeds back. They've got that hooked up, coming through here for this harness, so we'll see how that works. We got this one out of the way here. Let me turn this around so you guys can see what I'm doing here. We got this one out of the way. We're gonna go ahead and take our cruise module back out. Get that out of our way. Just put those bolts back in there again. And let me disconnect it. Grab my tool, hang on. Okay, that goes over there for right now. Everything we're just shoving over to this side. This is gonna go over here, so it's out of our way as much as we can get it. And then what I'm gonna do is battery cables. Let's get that 10mm. Again, we'll go ahead and take these out one more time. Once wasn't enough, let's do it twice. All right, looking in here, let me turn this around so you guys can see from this angle. So we got that fuel rail up and moved over again. We got the vacuum fitting. Actually, I'm sorry, not the vacuum, but this is the reservoir for the water. I'm gonna go ahead and take this out real quick. Let me grab my screwdriver again. Okay, this is disconnected. This one's disconnected. This one's disconnected. This can go up here. This is just our washer fluid connection here. I'll get that over there out of the way. See if I can get the right one for that one. Okay, so everything is cleared out here pretty well. This, I'm gonna take this out real quick. This one is also very mangled, and it looks to me from looking at it, this is an earlier harness here, or connector. Not connector, but keeps it from the wiring harness from moving around, and it is wasted. So I don't know if this is on 89 and up cars. I know it's not on the 91 Formula 350. So I'm gonna have to look at that a little bit more carefully. That does not want to come out of there at all. All right, so that came out, and that is pretty much wasted. So I'll put that to the side. Pretty melted. Of course, the base of it still stayed in there, so we'll clean that up. We've got all that out of the way. And that's actually about all I need to get out of our way for the moment, except for this one, which I'll grab a little bit later. That's not going to be too stressful. And then again, I can go back in and clean one last time now that I have access to everything pretty much unfettered. One thing I will do, I was going to show you guys here, part of this trick with the connectors. Where's my connector at? Where is my connector? Okay. Stand by. I'm looking for... See, this is what happens when you move all the wiring. Then you lose everything. There we go. Okay. So, this is that connector that goes in the electronic spark module, and you can see it's wasted. But GM, what they did back in the day, this was the weather pack terminals here. So what they would do is, everything was, in the early days of the computer controlled cars, was covered to keep the water and stuff out. In fact, you probably noticed me just dousing water in this corner, because unless there was just a breakage or something with these connectors that wasn't right, they would not get water damage. So what we're going to do here is pull this one off. You can see this one's just trash. It's not any good. And what you're going to want to do for these is utilize what's called a D-pin tool. Now, a lot of guys know what these are. Some people haven't seen them. So if you look inside the GM weather pack connectors, there is a slot right there. That's where that locking tab goes. So once you get those in there and you pull them out, they will come out and you'll be able to see that locking tab, which is right there. So when you're pushing down, you're actually pushing down that locking tab as you slide over it, and that's what's allowing you to release these from there. So I've already pre-loosened these. I'm just going to pull these out. These don't need to come in, and they actually fit the design here of this. So you can kind of see what you're looking and what you're getting. So what I'm going to do is just swap this connector real quick. My wiring's still kind of dirty, but again, you're going to use the one that'll fit right inside there. And of course, you want to make sure your orientation is correct. So my orientation on those two is correct right there. So what I'm going to do is pull this one out, put that in there, and that'll pull straight out. And as I drop my tool, and then I'll just put that one straight back into there. See that? Pretty easy. Let me grab my tool real quick. Okay, we're just going to keep going through here and doing this to get these out of here. Make sure my orientation's correct. As I drop my tool yet again. Let's see how many times Brian can drop his tool today. And let's lock that into place. Oh, I dropped it really good. It's way under the car. Hang on just a second. All right, you can get those D-pin tools pretty much anywhere. They're not real hard to find. You're just looking for GM or Ford weather pack connector D-pin tool. And that black one comes out. And one thing too, I do this side by side just so I can keep my orientation correct of where they're gonna go. And you can see on there, see that rubberized piece there? That's what also keeps the water from coming in the backside of those connectors. Pretty ingenious design. Ford was very similar in the 80s and 90s, like GM with these. But man, their connectors are a booger to get loose. Their tolerances are extremely tight on them. I mean, I'm talking like crazy. They're hard to get disconnected. And then we're gonna go for this last one here. And that's it, guys. So we have our new connector here. Still the tab's broken on this, but for right now that's the best one I had. So
what's up, Ryan?
Okay, well, that's what I get when my neighbors like to watch me work on my cars and they show up to talk to me. So sorry, I got a little sidetracked there talking to my neighbor. So what I was talking about, oh yeah, was we got our new connector in here. We're right there attached. Now what I'm going to do is put our attachment captive piece on the end there, which what that does, it keeps the wires separated, obviously, and keeps them aligned. So you just slide that over the ends there. See the channels they go through right there? That'll come up on camera. And then we slide that down and we lock that into place. So there are your connectors right there. So that one's done, that one's ready. A lot of the rest of that is done for today. I cleared, in fact, while my neighbor was over here chatting with me, I went ahead and did a few more things, got it done. So we've got these loosened up, we've got some more primary basic cleaning done here. Let's go ahead, and while we're here, we'll go ahead and I'm going to put this in real quick. I've got the proportioning valve cleaned up, already loosened that up. That's just a plastic switch, essentially, guys. And I see something. Okay. All right, so see, they are the same. You can tell how discolored that one is. We're just going to go ahead and screw that one back in there gently first, though. Let me clean up around the outside edge here. And towels. There's my finger. I'm losing everything, guys. See, that's the one bad thing about getting interrupted while you're working on stuff. It's easy to lose your place, but I don't mind. I actually enjoy talking with my friends while I'm doing this stuff, but it's funny. Or maybe I'm just getting old. So anyway, that just screws straight into there. You don't really want to get that overly tight because you just bust it. So there we got a new brake switch. And we'll go ahead and put our new connector on there for now. Ooh, that looks so much better. And then this is where we're going to be cutting that old nappy one looking off that burned. And we'll tie that back into the original harness. I don't know why they made this so long. But anyway, so that one's done. That's done. So we're looking to be in pretty good shape for the rest of our prep work as far as getting things painted, and then we'll go ahead and we'll start reassembling this side for the final time. And next time what I think we'll do is we'll go ahead, we should have our paint, so I'll go ahead and do our spot painting around through here. We'll go through here. This is my biggest area I want to be concerned with, because this is what you're going to be able to see when the hood's up. You're not going to be able to see back here. You won't be able to see behind here. You really won't be able to see much here. I'm also going to go ahead, this paint was burned away, so I went ahead and just peeled this off real quick while I was talking to my buddy. So we're going to go ahead and I'll spray paint this with some semi-gloss. Actually, that's more of a gloss right there. And then we'll get this corner in here that's scratched, came off, and right here. But you know, we'll get started putting back together again, and then we'll move forward from there. Because once this side's done, we'll put that cylinder head on, we'll finish up our passenger side, and then we'll start going forward from there for our intake. So again, guys, thanks everybody for watching. I do appreciate it, man, sticking around with me. Watch me dig deep into this car. I'm seeing a dim light at the end of our tunnel now as we dug into this thing. So it's progressing pretty nicely, and the heat wasn't terrible today, but we'll go from there. So I will be back again over the weekend, guys. So everybody have a good rest of the week, and we'll talk to you then. See you then.